Good day, everyone. Dan LaBert, CEO of NAILBA here for another exciting Engage panel. Today, joining me, two faces that should be very recognizable to you, friends of ours in the industry, professionals in the industry, leaders in our industry. First, CEO of Ash Brokerage, Tim Ash. Tim, welcome to NAILBA Engage.
Thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. And CEO and President of Aimcor, John Ziambras. John, welcome to NAILBA Engage.
Good morning. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Asked you guys to be on the show because well, it's been an 8-week or 8-month show. It feels like it's actually been 8 sessions, but asked you guys to be on because last year when I had the pleasure of being invited to the Aimcor annual meeting, John, you and Tim had a fun little meeting back and forth in front of all the Aimcor agencies and the carrier partners, and it's centered around change and innovation, which is perfect for today's discussion. So if you guys don't mind, I was hoping we can kind of recapture that and fast forward on things that you're doing since that time. Tim, I'll start with you. Just tell us a little bit about your respective organizations and how your path crossed with John Ziambras. I know how my path has crossed with John Ziambras, but that's probably a different segment for a different day.
Yeah. I'd be happy to. First, a little bit about Ash Brokerage. I affectionately call us a 50-year-old startup. So we're celebrating our 50th year this year in business. I'm second generation. I've been a part of the business for 30 plus years. We have 450 employees and locations in Fort Wayne, Indiana as the hub. We have offices in Freehold, New Jersey, Charlotte, North Carolina, Overland Park, Kansas, and Phoenix, Arizona. So, we're a BGA. We do business with banks, broker dealers, credit unions. We do outsourcing for institutional relationships. We work with independent advisors. So we're not unlike your typical NAILBA BGA.
Yeah, very, very much like the typical NAILBA BGA, generational and successful in securing the future of many families. John, tell us a little bit about your background, how you landed at Aimcor, and then I'd like you to finish that answer with how you and Tim crossed paths.
Sure. Dan, I just want to start by saying that I really enjoyed the format of Engage 39, the NAILBA meeting. It's been great variety, greatly spacing, and it's been a pleasure to participate, and thank you for asking us to be here. Aimcor isn't a 50-year-old startup. It's a 10-year-old marketing organization. I joined about 9 years ago, sharing a vision with our partners of building a different distribution organization, and I think we've taken some great steps. So those steps have been accelerated in the past year and a half. Tim and I would say we met accidentally. We were both having independent conversations with a private equity firm that we both worked with. And they had the idea of why don't we just get into a room for half day and brainstorm. And we flew to Chicago. We spent a half day in a small conference room sharing our vision for the future, our respective businesses, core competencies. And then the two of us had a 3.5-hour dinner. And from there, it's history. It's been an incredible year and a half. And I think when I look back at this sort of 18-month period that we've been working together, the things that I see, first of all, we have very similar cultures as an organization and great passion for the business, great passion for, I want to say, building what needs to be there. I think in our space, it's been a very successful space for the last 2 or 3 decades, but I think a lot of people are sort of trying to cling on to what has been there. Our passion is really to try to build what needs to be there. And I kind of laugh a little bit when Tim says that Ash is a BGA. What we have come across in that organization is way beyond just a simple BGA. They're obviously a distribution organization, but the alignment of culture, the vision for the future, and then you add technology and capital makes this a very, very unique partnership. So the Aimcor is a national marketing organization with 43 members, of which Ash Brokers has been a member of in the past year. And we distribute through a variety of platforms in the independent space, in institutional and alternative distribution. So we couldn't be more excited. Our first year together was the year of the pandemic, but I think Tim would agree with me that we've hit all the milestones and the goals that we've had for this year, and we couldn't be more excited about what lies ahead for our respective organizations.
John, let me take that actually to Tim. John mentioned not a traditional BGA, and in my 3 years as CEO of NAILBA, I've come to learn there is no such thing as a traditional BGA anymore. The playing field is changing. The playing field is aging. It's really an opportunity for taking on problems that we had in the past, addressing new challenges that we did not foresee in the past. But with that in mind, when Ash engaged fully with Aimcor and vice versa, what opportunities, what challenges did you and John discuss in that room where you guys were brainstorming? And then what opportunities and challenges do you see moving forward?
Sure. Well, you bring up a great question, Dan. And our why we're not a typical or a traditional BGA, I guess, to what John was saying. We look and behave more like a technology and an innovation company. And we're trying to always find ways to make it easier to protect and insure lives. And it's a complicated world, which we all know. What John and I shared was a common vision that we both believe in investing in the business. And we have a very, very heavy R&D budget in our company. And John saw what we were doing with technology. We had built our core agency management system. We have our own CRM. We have our own data analytics. And John saw what we were doing and how we were integrating and working with not only our customers, but our insurance company partners and sharing information with them. And John said, that's what we want to do at Aimcor. And so he and the leadership at Aimcor said, we are not just a place where firms just aggregate to come together. We want to bring value to our membership. And so that commonality that we share in technology, and John put his money where his mouth was, and we're now rolling out the technology that Ash Brokerage built within the Aimcor ecosystem. So that's just one little snippet of what we're doing and the common ground and partnership that we enjoy with Aimcor.
Thanks, Tim. John, we had plenty of hours of discussion pre-COVID where you and I would exchange ideas, and I've always been impressed with the leadership role that Aimcor has, the style that it has with its members, the style that it shares around tackling challenges in our industry. Talk a little bit about just what you see around challenges that Aimcor has faced head on, maybe prior to Aimcor meeting with Ash Brokerage. Just talk a little bit about that culture of meeting challenges head on, and then some of the opportunities you saw before you had the opportunity to brainstorm with Tim.
Sure. When I look at challenges, and I always thought that the bigger the challenge, the greater the opportunity. And we all deal with these external challenges on a macro level. And I call those, common denominators, whether it's interest rates or, they call it the aging of the profession and things like that. And I think the innovation opportunity is how we all react to these common denominators. Do you have the right insight to create something that doesn't exist? When I look back at Aimcor, one of the things that we always focused on was organic growth. We never, wanted to grow via aggregation. We never thought that, we wanted to be a 100 agency organization. We were very focused on investing in the business and building a future for our agencies. Also, what I would like to mention is we are one of probably of the youngest organizations in the industry. More than half of our agencies are run by principals that are under the age of 50 or 45.
Yeah.
We have a very large number of female principals. So we have a 20-year horizon about the business. So when we met Ash, the structure of Aimcor is a group of independently owned businesses, but the ability to leverage technology that works, and be able to drive growth by being on a common platform is a very unique vision. And what Ash brought to us, is things that we could probably never build ourselves. And if we had to go buy it, it would have been very expensive. We all know the role of technology in our business, not only in recent years, but in terms of what lies ahead. So we have enabled something that I think, can do this proverbial 1 + 1 = 3 of what we can do together into the future, driven by technology and a common vision. So again, we're very deliberate about how we go about it. There's a tremendous commitment to investing in the business and building something that's really different and meaningful in the industry.
John, I noticed that when I was attended your annual meeting, that you're right. The variety of age in Aimcor is unlike many other events that I've been a part of, and definitely definitely an atmosphere that shows an appetite around being innovative, being new, being different. And gentlemen, I invited you guys to be part of NAILBA Engage today because it's Innovation Day, right? So let's talk about innovation. And this could, we can take this many different ways, but I want each of you to just talk about what these terms mean to you in the area of innovation. So obviously, I'm just going to throw a few random out here, and then I'll tie in with our conversation. But technology, product, distribution, carrier, and advisor engagement paths. So Tim, everybody knows Ash Brokerage to be a very innovative brokerage general agency. You guys are known for your technology products. You guys are known for several things, but when it comes to technology, Ash is always in the conversation. Just why? Why is that always happen? Why is every conversation I'm in and Ash comes up, there's an innovative product discussion being discussed, or the words innovation is being utilized around what Ash is doing?
Well, it's a foundational core principle here to constantly invest back in the business. And we're a competitive, curious organization that wants to serve advisors that are serving clients. And, it's known that there's this very large protection gap that insurance companies, reinsurance companies, and distribution talks about. And we feel that technology needs to play a role in helping to fill that. Let's face it, the advisors that do business with us today and many BGAs don't wake up every day selling insurance as their primary income source. It's secondary or tertiary. And so it's foreign to them. It's much more difficult. And so we have to build and invest in tools to make it easier for the advisors to engage in this process. We also built the technology so that we could be closer to the customer, be an extension of the advisor, be there as a partner, be there as a fiduciary. And technology enables those conversations to take place in a better way. We also are big on measuring things. We think it's important. If you don't have a scoreboard, you're not keeping track of what's going on, then your only way to get to a destination is through luck. And we're just very intentional about understanding what's going on in our business, the trends that we're seeing with our submissions, with our quoting, with everything. We measure it all. And at the touch of on my keypad, I can pull up metrics on our organization right here, right now. And I think that's all very important in how we do it. And so innovation is just core and foundational to the company, and we're going to consistently invest in making it easier to do business and also to be a great partner to not only the advisors that work with us, but the insurance companies that we rely on so much to provide the products and services.
Tim, I want to stay with you for one question, and I'm going to go off script a little bit, but nothing that you can't handle. How do you maintain the energy around innovating that you do? I've been in this industry 3 years. In fact, when I first joined NAILBA, John was courteous enough. I said, let's meet for an hour. He gave me 6. We sat together and we talked about the challenges in the industry. How does your leadership at Ash meet the challenges that are business as usual in this industry, right? Hey, I'm getting close to retirement. Not me personally, I'm using it as an example. I wish I was. I'm getting close to retirement. I know the chief underwriter at such and such company, they're getting close to retirement. They don't want to change anything. We just want to get this business secured. How do you take a different approach? And you have a big team. You have a very aggressive, innovative mindset, which is needed for this industry. If anything, throughout the past year, we've seen the pandemic speed us along to be innovative and not. So how do we avoid regression? How does Ash Brokerage avoid regression? Every day you have to get up and you're innovating. How do you keep the energy for do that? Sorry, I'm all over the board there, but I've always wanted to just have that discussion.
Dan, that's a really tough one to answer. You know, when it's part of your DNA as a business, as a culture, as a team of people, you know, we invest and spend so much time on that. That's what we talk about every day, day in and day out in the organization. And that's where, when you look at a lot of the BGAs that are, you know, in the NAILBA community, there are so many great businesses there. And yes, there are some that are approaching retirement, but there are these great businesses that could come together and put more investment back into the business. I think it's a mindset. Mm-hmm. We look at operating the business and saying a certain amount of the revenue that we make from our organization is going to be invested back in the business to make the business better. Yeah. And, you know, John, I take a little bit of offense to now being one of the oldest people in Aimcor. So, you know,
you had to raise the bar a little bit there.
Yeah, that's why I needed this lighting in here, so I look a little younger than what I am. But in any event, you know, and right there's another thing. We have fun doing what we do. And we invest in talent, we invest in people, we create an environment where people get to unlock their unique talents and abilities, and you have to do that by investing back into the business. So the energy that we have, I will say this, Dan, I am more energetic 30 plus years into this business today than I was when I first started. I'm seeing and spotting opportunities and trends and things that our team is really, really excited about. And so I don't know, it's just an energy, yeah. Right? It's also, we have a purpose. And I think when you have energy, you have belief, you have purpose, you add those three things up, you can become unstoppable, and you power that with people that care. And this company's filled with 400 plus folks that care.
Tim, I have to agree with you. I'm one of those guys that's pretty forward and pretty candid and will call something out. But since my exposure to Ash Brokerage, I have seen that through your teammates. They have discussed the atmosphere that's been created, where, you know, they're not afraid to take some chances and be different. And that's definitely a sign to your leadership. Thank you for taking that one on. John.
My pleasure.
John, we have had numerous discussions. I'll call you and say, let's talk about this product, that product, how it's intended to be distributed. A lot of changes, right? A lot of changes this year with 7702 coming into play. You and I discussed at length AG 49A. How are you seeing products innovate, and how are you seeing the distribution of those same products change, innovate, be new, be fresh? I wish we could take one of our past phone calls and just play it for the audience, but now I get to ask you that question all over again.
Well, first of all, I want to straighten the record that Tim is about 2 weeks older than me, so that's light or no light doesn't make a difference. It's a fact. But you know, when I look at product, it's you know, first of all, I would say that, you know, we spend so much time in this business on how the product works versus what the product can do. And when you look at the, you know, whether it's illustrations or cap rates or, you know, we're selling something on a piece of paper that by the time the customer looks at it, it's obsolete. So I think the biggest opportunity, and we have an incredible one ahead of us, because I always said that if people knew what our products can do for them, they would be lined up to buy them. When you look at the industry statistics, you know, we all read about the gap But we're going to have longevity in this country. We're going to have the baby boomers that are moving into the distribution space. So, people live longer. When they live longer, they're going to need long-term care. When Social Security, we know it's questionable, and I think you're going to see Social Security being more fragile going into the future. So the opportunity to position product to help people, if they so much beyond pure protection, it's income security, long-term care, all the things that the products can do for them. Our challenge and our opportunity is to be able to engage the consumer through the advisor to be able to understand, what our product can do for us. And, we're going to, you didn't mention AG 49A. To me, that's more of a little bit of an illustration play, but, the 7702 is going to create an opportunity for people to put more money into life insurance. I think on a macro level, with the interest rate environment, we all keep hearing about how, we're going to have to sell more VUL or more IUL or more accumulation. That's the direction that the companies are doing. The current interest rate environment can no longer support capital intensive products. But I think the opportunity for us is to, focus on what those products can do for the consumer and be able to position it with the advisor so they can take them to their clients. I would also say that, through technology, our business used to be about sort of what happens after the sale is made, whether it's the underwriting or the case management. I think at this point, between data and technology, a lot of that is going to be taken care automatically from the carrier. So I think the magic in our business is focusing on the distribution side and being able to be a very integral part to generating the sale, as opposed to taking care of it after the customer says yes. And I think that's a tremendous opportunity for all of us going forward. You asked before about innovation from a carrier standpoint. One of the things that we're doing together with ASH is trying to figure out, what are the opportunities that could be created if we combined all the data that ASH has and Aimcor has, and then be able to create a very different conversation with our insurance companies in terms of, bringing them the business that's really suitable for them, and also have a predictable outcome to the advisors that we do business with. So much, about the insurance business has been revolving about price. Now we're hoping to get to the point that when we talk to an advisor, we can say to them that, this is the product or this is the carrier that would be best for your client based on the data that we have, and then turn around, and when we go to insurance company A, B, or C, the likelihood of delivering a product to their doorstep, that it's the product that they want with the price they want and the underwriting risk they want, I think it creates an opportunity for a very different relationship with the insurance company between them and us as a combined distribution organization.
Let me turn that around, John, and Tim. I'd like you to answer the same question. Let's talk about the advisor experience, right? Everyone is innovating different ways. We are accepting the atmosphere that we're now in. It will change, but what Tim mentioned, John, that the advisor doesn't wake up and say they're going to sell life insurance today. Maybe the very aggressive ones do, but it's always coming as part of something in their day. They are looking for the experience with the BGA, right? It can't just be business as usual. We have an opportunity now. We're hopefully on the tail end of a pandemic. Advisors have the opportunity to work with any BGA or institution out there. Let's talk about creating that advisor experience through technology. You want to just take a stab at that? I know you discussed that with many of the Aimcor agencies in the past of creating the advisor experience.
Yeah, the advisor experience, again, to me, is the ability to engage the advisor, to give them the impetus and the idea on how to raise a need or an opportunity to their client. Mm-hmm. Have to be able, obviously, we live in this, the magic is going to be in this digital engagement, whether it's the pandemic or not. The ability we have created over the past year to engage with so many people in a different way than face-to-face is a key component of the future, and the ability to deliver ideas and content to 10 or 20x the number of advisors that you did before. I think it's one of the fundamental changes we've seen this year.
Yeah.
And then the value will be through technology and data, giving them kind of an outcome-based proposal as opposed to, a pricing one or the way it's been done traditionally. I'm sure Tim has more thoughts.
Yeah. Tim, you said you've been at this for quite some time. How has it changed from the advisor experience from then until now? I know Ash has a, has a robust platform about measuring efficiency, working with different carriers and different products. I can't imagine what it must be like when the advisor's eyes are wide open when they see certain measurables that you guys have in place.
Yeah, so John mentioned data as being a big part of that. And so what we do within the advisor experience journey is we get to know what the clients of that advisor look like, and are able to identify and create modules, if you will, to approach their clients with topics that should be germane or what's going on in their life. So it's really understanding data and information and having the advisor trust you enough to share their information with you so that you can be that risk management consultant, that risk management partner. I'm pretty simple when it comes to using the products and solutions. I try to answer this question, what job are you hiring this insurance product to do for your client? What's the job that it's going to do in the life of your client? And if you're not able to identify and create that connection, then you're just trying to sell something. You're not creating that showing that need, that want. And when you frame it that way, you get away from price, you get away from process, and you start talking about real life situations and scenarios. So, I'll close on with this comment on the advisor engagement. We have been doing client seminars or client education events virtually now for the last 8 to 10 months. And we've had probably around 1,000 clients listen to long-term care planning, listen to the role of life insurance for business owners, a whole host of topics. So another level of advisor engagement, and John, you alluded to this, is bringing value to them, being an extension of their business, not requiring them to be the expert in the field, but know where they can get the expertise. And that's what I think the BGA of the future is going to be delivering. We're going to be more education oriented. We're going to be more consultative in that approach, rather than just running illustrations and processing business. That stuff's going to happen, but it's going to be what you have to do to get in front of the advisor so that they're comfortable with exposing you and your services as a company to their clients. So I could keep going on this topic for a long time, Dan. So I want to be mindful of the panel discussion.
Absolutely. And I have 2 more questions for both of you. One is going to be about just, what does the crystal ball hold? What do you guys see coming? But here's one I want to hit you with cold. I'm going to do this intentionally, but you guys can handle it. I have heard in and out of every discussion, life insurance is the hardest product to sell. We've made it difficult to sell. What do you guys think about that? Have we made it difficult to sell? Because the conversation I'm hearing here is no, it's not difficult to sell. We're selling it the wrong way. We should be selling it as the experience, not just the transaction. At least, Tim, that's what I'm picking up from the culture at Ash, is that it's an atmosphere of creativity, it's an atmosphere to innovate, and it's an opportunity to secure the future of a family, what their needs are, both short-term and long-term. So is the product hard to sell, or have we made it hard to sell?
I think the industry, and the industry as all of us, has made it a little too difficult, more difficult than what it should be. Yeah. And the industry, as you go back, you can go back the past 3 decades or 4 decades and look at, it's been a replacement driven industry, not a needs-based industry, but replacing something that was sold before. And you don't need me to go back and say Universal Life replaced Whole Life, VUL replaced UL, No Lapse Guaranteed replaced VUL that didn't perform, and all these things. And there have been, there's been this separation from talking about what this financial product can solve for businesses and families. And that's what it needs to get back to. The other thing it needs to have is transparency. When you look at an expense report on a life insurance product for, I don't care if it's VUL or IUL or anything that's cash value driven, it's riddled with columns of expenses. And as a financial advisor, if you had a 401k, if your 401k statement had 5 expense columns in it, you would say, my goodness, I'm being taken advantage of. So I think the industry needs to come together, both manufacturer and distributor, and create products that are advice-based, advisory-based, simplified, talk about the power of the structure, say this is the cost of the structure, and then does it make sense to utilize the structure within one's financial picture? And and we're talking primarily in their non-qualified dollars. So long-winded answer, Dan, I apologize.
No apology.
We do need to simplify the product. We do need to simplify the message and get back to true needs-based selling, and not to be a broken record, but you should hire cash value life insurance to do a specific job in your financial household. And I could sit here and tell you what all of those reasons are. And that's what we're coaching and teaching advisors to do day in and day out. So that's my answer.
Tim, part of that answer could actually go into the crystal ball question I asked, but I'm going to bring that one back to you after I take the same question to John, and we'll wrap it up. John, what do you think?
Well, I think, the process is an issue for the advisor, right? It's not an issue for the client. The client is not sitting there saying, well, I'm not going to buy life insurance because the process is cumbersome. I think between data and technology, we're going to get to a point that the pure protection sale will probably, a very large aspect of it is going to be instant issue. The companies are going to know enough for a customer to know that up to X face amount, we can comfortably price it at that. And, we all talk about this gap, the 7, 12 trillion, 20 trillion, whatever you want to call it. Some of it will be handled by, these fintech and direct to consumer companies. We are in the advice business, and we are in the, I want to say, consumer engagement through advisor assistance business. And I think the process helps, especially when you're dealing with the non-traditional advisor. But again, our focus will be on teaching the advisor, the non-traditional advisor, how to engage their customer into the value of the product. And then the rest of it will somehow be taken care of between the insurance companies, the data, and us. But I think when I think cash value life insurance, I think of something that is a lifetime experience for the customer. All of our business until today, and this goes a little bit into the crystal ball thing, but we take a snapshot of somebody's health and then price it and then have it in place for the next 40 years. I think today the opportunity to have this sort of dynamic underwriting or dynamic relationship with the customer through the lifetime ownership of the product is very significant. We all walk around with these wearable devices that monitor everything on a constant basis. And, frankly, in the next 20, 30 years, 70% of the diseases or the deaths are going to be preventable because there's going to be lifestyle diseases. So the opportunity for an insurance company or an advisor to engage with the customer throughout the ownership of the product is very significant. This lifetime engagement of the consumer to the product, I think, is going to be a game changer for our business. For us, the cash value, things we have to monitor, performance, just the opportunity to have this different relationship with the customer is what I see as the biggest crystal ball opportunity for us.
Tim, what about you? What's the biggest crystal ball opportunity? Maybe short-term, long-term, whatever one you want to go. Remember that, of course, we're going to record this and play this over and over for the next 10 years. So if you're right, we're going to come back to you and say you were right. If you're wrong, we're going to have a little fun with you. So what do you think? What's the biggest crystal ball opportunity that you see coming?
I saw the question, and that's a tough one to answer.
It is.
And I don't mind being wrong in that. I've been saying this to our team. I think the next 10 years is going to be a decade of cash value life insurance sales like we haven't seen. And I think you're going to see products built on an advisory chassis where they're not commission based. You're going to see technology linkages between RIAs, insurance companies, and distributors. It has to be there. The reason RIAs and investment advisor representatives of those RIAs, whether they're independent or part of a corporate structure, if you don't link with the technology that they use, you don't show up in their business model. So I believe the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years, there's going to be more plumbing, if you will, that connects this financial services industry. And right now, life insurance and annuities have kind of been on the outside, and ETFs and mutual funds and asset management solutions have been on the inside. And so I believe that life insurance is going to show up and be present as that asset class that we all talk about, but it's going to show up on the statement. It's going to show up in the performance reporting. It's going to be native to the advisor's environment. So that's my viewpoint on what I see as the next things happening. And John alluded to this already. Listen, underwriting is going to become streamlined for the majority of Americans. My advice to BGAs is, if you're living on underwritten term insurance for 35 to 45 and 50-year-old people, that business is going to go away. The value that you're going to deliver in that space is going to be diminished, because it'll be a submission and instant decision, and probably capture between 65 to 75% of that business. And that's not a 10-year thing. I think that's probably less than 3 years away, and we're starting to see that already today. The other thing, if the insurance industry and regulators don't get together and figure out how to take a 50-page application and get all the disclosures down, just like you would with your iTunes, what you agree to on that. That's where the industry has to get to, is recognize that you have to show up in this Amazon type economy and not be foreign. So those are my thoughts and predictions where we're investing dollars and resources. And hopefully we'll be right. And I'll say this, after 50 years of being in business, we've learned from a lot of things we've gotten wrong, as we all do as people and businesses. And so just invest, try, be a resource, and enjoy the journey.
Well, Tim, I say you guys have a pretty darn good track record along the way as well. And it's evident not only from yourself, from the others that talk about Ash Brokerage. John, how about you? Any parting thoughts there on your side of the crystal ball?
I agree that, with the biggest opportunity being in the next 10 years, I also think that, we're going to see a lot of change in the distribution. A lot of people are going to exit the business. But I think that the people that are going to remain and prevail are going to have some tremendous upside. And I think some of the things that Aimcor and Ash is thinking of doing in the next 10 years, you're going to want to go back and look at this and play it back a few times in terms of what we're looking to accomplish together. And of course, in partnership with our carriers. And again, we're big supporters of NAILBA.
Yes, you are.
And how you're trying to evolve the organization along with the industry. So more to come on this. So
well, don't think you guys are off the hook. I mean, I'll get you back on camera as updates happen and you guys have different accomplishments. Admittedly, when we talked about innovation today for NAILBA, I don't think we could have that conversation without Ash Brokerage and Aimcor part of it. I mean, you guys have definitely demonstrated leadership to me and assistance and support, of course. But under that umbrella, you guys tend to be innovating all the time. I think there's a great Walt Disney quote in there that I can't remember, but maybe some others can. Tim Ash, CEO of Ash Brokerage, John Ziambras, CEO and President of Aimcor. Thank you both for engaging with NAILBA today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Dan, and keep up the great work at NAILBA.
Thank you, Tim.